So Umar is talking to Nick Cannon, and he's like, yo, I got at least two of my beautiful queens. We could have been married, but they couldn't be patient and wait.
If y'all think that just because a man got you pregnant is going to equal marriage, I don't even think that's a real thing in 2025.
The reason why we have timelines, because we have women out here who've been with the same man for 10, 15 years and still ain't got no ring.
A lot of men are finding out women can fake it for a while, but if you don't give her what she wants and you wait long enough, you should stop faking it.
Umar said, listen, I told you I'm going to marry you after I open the school. You being impatient.
You know who else is trying to figure it out? Dr. Umar is trying to figure it out. I'm telling y'all, it's a whole thing right now, right? Black men are going through it. We just trying to sort it out. Umar is talking to, I don't know if y'all heard about this. I think y'all, anyway. So Umar is talking to Nick Cannon. And I think it was Nick Cannon. Anyway, so he's talking and he's like, yo, I got at least two of my beautiful queens that could have been like married to me right now. We could have been married, but they couldn't be patient and wait. They want to be married right now just because they had my baby. Just because they were the mothers of my children, then they thought we should be married. And he was like, I just wanted them to wait. They couldn't wait, and now they sitting there with their fate. I mean, he didn't say, oh, those are my bars. But what do you guys think? I mean, technically, I mean, he dropped it raw. You know what I'm saying? He spit it out raw. I mean, I ain't just talking about like how he got the kids. You know what I'm saying? He gave some real raw truth right there. And the question is he evolving the conversation or are we eroding the conversation? What do y'all think?
Well, hold on. Yes, listen. First of all, I got to be honest, and I feel like some women really need to hear this, right? Because somehow y'all have this clock in your heads that sometimes, and this is just me again tapping into understanding the woman needs thing, because when I heard him say, hey, there were some women I would have married, but they didn't have the patience, how many of us have seen that movie before? And it breaks my heart because some of y'all just be leaving prematurely. And I have to ask myself, what was this timeline based off of? Like, no, dead ass, right? Like so let's say, for example, you're at a certain age and you have a timeline in your head. Okay, I get that. If I go into your bedroom and you have a little chalk, and by 35, this is going to happen, and you really when you were 23, I can see that, right? Because you're committed. You know what I'm saying? Like, but most of y'all don't be doing that. Like, you meet a guy, which y'all really are, is impatient. A lot of times, just because you're ready and you're scared, you want the security of him returning the commitment or the relationship that you want, just because you gave him some because you really liked him, didn't even really think through whether or not he was worthy of it in the first place, but now you're here, right? So assuming that you did, because if you did meet him and you fucked with him and you vetted him, then you would trust that he's the one for you, right? What's the rush? I'm so confused, right? You either knew that you chose well or you didn't, right? Or maybe you chose well and it wasn't about him in the first place. It was about you wanting to get married at a particular time. Make it make sense. It's not like the niggas at the crib playing video games. You see he's outside, right? Was he not worth the wait? I'm so confused. So I get what he's saying in regards to some of those women. Some of y'all ladies out there be leaving y'all blessings for what exactly? Where is this magical, amazing nigga who was gonna show up to pick up the slack when you left the nigga who was showing up and not giving you any slack? Somebody make it make sense. So I just gotta speak to that because my heart breaks for some of y'all bad decision, lonely out there right now, women that I heart for. So let's say that. Now, number two, okay, I think his perspective might have been, yes, I dropped some kids in them. When I did do so, I could see them being my wife. But guess what? They just had impatience, could not follow leadership, could not sign up for the program, could not submit properly. And so now here I am. So just the fact that I got them pregnant alone is not enough for me to commit to them a certain type of way. And I think people just got to be honest about that, right? Yes, he might have had good intentions. Unfortunately, they were impatient, and what he gonna do, right? Except for be a stand-up nigga, right? And take care of his kids. So, I mean, I hear y'all, but if y'all think that just because a man got you pregnant is gonna equal marriage, I don't even think that's a real thing in 2025. So I'm not even mad. I don't even see like what the conversation is about. Y'all don't value marriage, right? And y'all barely value your own bodies, dropping kids out here like it's nothing. So it's like, yes, the math is not going to math in the world that we live in. I was not being toxic, but I do agree with him that, yes, marriage does not mean, or no, pregnancy does not mean marriage.
That means you still wanted to be toxic over there. That's what that was.
Yeah, he had to get it out.
No, I mean, listen, if women want to hold babies up hostage for a ring, then do that. But they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can just drop a seat anywhere. It's like the garden department at Home Depot.
Lord have mercy.
So, I'm sorry.
Let me just scratch my forehead because I might need some emotional ears versus womanese. I was planning on answering your question in womanese, the first part of it, which is why do women have timelines? The reason why we have timelines because we have women out here who've been with the same man for 10, 15 years and still ain't got no ring. And common law no longer matters in some states.
Y'all been with him for 6 months, S&M. These
No,
women be in a relationship for 6 months. Talking about
I'm not saying Dr. Umar. I'm saying why some women don't have a time frame because one, you have some women who've been out there for 10, 15 years with the same guy, no ring in sight, got 15 kids, okay, 3 to 5 kids, but no ring in sight. And then when they finally do get the ring, they get divorced shortly after. So anyway, the second thing is you have women who have kids with a man and no ring in sight again. And the minute they break up, 6 months later, he marries somebody else. The third reason is because nowadays we have dating coaches that are telling women that you should be married within 1 to 2 years after meeting your partner and without actually putting any type of context behind that to say why you should be married and the proper vetting skills. And yes, my voice did change for that because it's not knocking dating coaches per se, but at the end of the day, you need to do what's best for you and for yourself. But if you want to follow the dating coaches, bam, there you go. So I wanted to answer your question before I go on into my response. And I just want to make sure we got the womanese part out of it.
Oh, no, you killed it. You killed that. You was on point with that. Go ahead, girl. You got it. I'm going to just shut my mouth.
So now in regards to him specifically, I'm going to agree with him to an extent, right? And the reason why is because nowadays we do have to recognize that we women, we've made it too easy for men. We've made it too easy to drop the seed off, to spray up the club, drop the seed, plant it, and then bring forth a baby without putting any boundaries or requirements in place in the first place. So if we don't want to be left holding the baby, then stop letting them spray up the club. Like put some protection in place. It's actually not that hard to have protection in place simply to protect your womb. Because nowadays we see, especially in this day when we have so many different options for protection, like, come on, stop. You knew what you was doing when you allowed him to spray up the club. You thought you was going to get the baby because he was a stand-up hotep. Now, let me just stop because I know some folks don't like hoteps. So, but he was a stand-up individual. Oh, no. Oh, Devin telling on himself. Look at that. But anyways, he was supposed to be a stand-up individual all about, boom, Black family, Black power and everything. So you thought that you was going to get this ring because you got his seed and you were like, oh, he's going to take care of my seed. He's going to marry me. And you thought wrong. So that means you didn't vet him properly and understand his mentality, his framework, or his style to even fully understand that he was not ready for marriage. And so if you would have took the time to get to know him better, then perhaps you would have ended up with his seed and no ring. With that also being said, for in general, please stop assuming a baby equals commitment to you. The baby just equals commitment to the baby. Does not equal commitment to you. It does not result in a ring to you. There are a lot of women who assume that they can trap a man with a baby and say, oh, this is going to guarantee that ring. It's not. All it's going to guarantee you is late night diapers and maybe an active father, depending on the person's disposition in life, right? So please stop assuming that. He's right. As far as the question that Jay asked pertaining to the community, is this the standard we want? No, we don't want this as the standard, but we're already here. So how are we going to we already put the cart before the horse. So now we need to reverse the order some way, some shape, somehow by having conversations like this. But that starts with you protecting your womb. And it starts with men practicing seed control, right? Stop spraying up the club. Women, stop allowing the spraying up the club. And we won't be having conversations like this because ultimately, if we're supposed to be building family to build community, then we got to start somewhere. And that starts with you taking responsibility. And I'll end there.
So, Delvin, I'm going to rephrase the question. You may have lost it and all that. The question is, Dr. Umar says, pregnancy does not equal marriage. Do you agree or disagree, sir? Where do you stand?
It does not. And you know who decided that? The ladies, I'm gonna hold you accountable in season 6. You know why? Because I am pro marry before you carry. But everybody just the lady decided, no, we want to, even though we have 12, 25 forms of birth control, we still want to get made single mothers by the Grand Rising Queen delegation, the Hotep brothers, and various other brothers. That's just not the price of marriage anymore. To Nick's point earlier, holding the kid hostage. Listen, if you want to shoot up the club, if you want to feel all the fullness of my glory, then you have to marry me. Those days are over. You're about 40 years too late. Umar said, listen, I told you I'm gonna marry you after I open the school. You being impatient. He told you that up front, and you thought, I can weigh him out. Okay, the school isn't open yet. I'm getting a little up in age. Let me go ahead and try to trap him with this baby. And it didn't work out. You knew exactly who he was. Like in most cases, the guy's not gonna, put the ring on the finger, or you have it already. Married before you carry. You guys decided you didn't want to do that. So that's where we are. And I'm here for it. I'm here for the jokes. That's how I see it.
That's cold. I'm just going to go ahead and say that's cold because you completely let the men have no responsibility in shooting up the club. But I understand. Because she got to carry the baby that ultimately she should have made the proper
Man.
decision and made sure he was protected. I get it.
And listen,
Man.
we knew because Trump is back in office. He told the ladies, look, I'm cutting you off all the EBT and the welfare, the all the decisions or the Supreme Court. He said, nut in me daddy season is over. They knew that.
But he's also stopping women from having abortions and so forth. But we don't
Yes.
want to go down this rabbit hole.
Well,
Yes,
I'm just
please
going to
stop.
say, sir,
yes. So,
stop. Jay, it's on you.
all right. So you guys have covered a broad swath of this. You're coming from a bunch of different angles. I think it's really simple. I think that if you analyze the man they were trying to get, then you see that they didn't. Okay. Dr. Umar, I think he's poly anyway. But even if he wasn't poly, as a man in a relationship, he needs to set the tempo for the relationship. He cannot allow his partner to set the tempo for the relationship because if he does, now she is leading the relationship, right? And that can cause all sorts of problems, and particularly if he is the type of man who espouses the beliefs that he's espoused in terms of a man's leadership in the household and his vision and executing the mission, right? So now, if it's two women, he can't let either one of them dictate the tempo because then that would be disharmony in his future poly situation. You know what I'm saying? All he wanted was to vet them, and he did vet them. And what he found was they were impatient because you know what? A lot of men are finding out women can fake it for a while. They can fake it for a while. They can fake it if they're getting what they want. But if you don't give her what she wants and you wait long enough, then she'll stop faking it. Or if you do give her what she wants, and yes, then she'll stop faking it too. But anyway, my point, I digress. That's some real stuff I just gave you. But my point here is I don't think that what he's doing is wrong. I think, listen, ladies, if you decide that you are going to gamble, right, and gamble in the bed for a baby trying to get the bag, and they're going to try to finesse that bag into a bouquet for a bigger bag, okay? Don't be mad if you get left like a bum on the sidelines because you couldn't hold it down. You couldn't hold on to your investment, right? Until it was time to cash out. You cashed out too soon. Yeah, you bought wherever you bought and you sold low. That's your fault. You should have stuck it out. You could have been like that one girl. Well, it was several different girls at different parties, but there's always one girl at a party who is the last chick standing. She will stay and help you clean up. She will let everybody go. She'll call people taxis and everything because she knows there's value in being the last woman standing. I'm not telling women to just wait on any guy, the Pookies, the Ray Rays, whatever. But if you were a man who has a vision and a mission and a plan and a tempo and you see him moving, please do not slow him down with your need for this melodrama Hollywood romance story you got worked into your head. We'll shoot it, but not on your time, not on your schedule. We'll shoot it when it's time for it to be in the movie. Y'all go ahead, man.
Yeah, listen, I do want to say this so I could be not toxic. This is my anti-toxic conversation, right? Because y'all, like, having a kid is not a small thing. Like, nobody's saying don't go out there and get your fuck on. I mean, some people are saying that. I'm not saying that, right? And to be honest, like, having a kid isn't the easiest thing to do. Like, I feel like the perception is every time you fuck, you're gonna have a kid. That's not true. Like, shorty gotta be ovulating. There's a little bit of science that goes to it. So imagine how reckless you got to be if you're just shooting at the club at the most inopportune times. That probably means you're shooting up the club a lot and you're not even thinking about the consequences of that. Like, I'm talking about creating a whole other person. There's a lot of less significant things that you can do, like on some bullshit, right? And including sex with protection or birth control. So I get it. Like, so honestly, nobody's saying don't have sex. But I do think if you're talking about having a kid and you're intentional, wouldn't you want to do it in a relationship with someone that you're committed to for life? Right? Not saying they're always going to work out that way, but at least did I vet this person? Do they have good genes? You know what I'm saying? Right? Because that's important too. Does he got good credit? Like whatever you need to identify a human being that when it comes to like navigating life, which includes finances, et cetera, right? Spirituality, baby, growth, evolution, communication, emotional intelligence, like all this. I know it sounds hard, right? Like managing a relationship with another person, right? It sounds hard. But you want to do that with a child that you got to also feed and clothe and take care of. Like some of this stuff makes sense. So, ladies, if you can't see yourself finding a man, why you want to create one? I'm just curious. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Right? And fellas, come on, man. I get it. We ain't got to carry the baby, right? To Esmeralda's point, I'm going to speak to the fellas. We ain't got to carry it, man, but we got to carry the knowledge that we created a life that we no longer have control over, especially without the custodial parent. And what's worse is that if you made the wrong choice, you ain't got to pay for it. It's almost like the guy who's held hostage and he's not going to turn, and they find his wife and kid, and then they use. It's like, bro, your kid gonna be held hostage, and you sit here complaining about it because you fucked a terrorist with no condom, and now it's like, oh my god, I can't believe Osama bin Laden is doing this to me. You know what I'm saying? You should fucking run into a goddamn building with your suicide bomber ass at this point. But my point is that no, guys, you can fuck and withdraw before you ejaculate. It's called the withdrawal method, right? It's not that hard. The more you practice it, the better off you can be about it, right? That's one. They got condoms. You know what I'm saying? Slip a player B in her drink the next morning. Hey, baby, I got you some coffee. I'm saying you gotta get creative. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Refer to the disclaimer.
You know, at week 13, she might take a spill down some steps. I'm just playing. There's a lot, there's a lot of things that has to, all I'm saying is there's a lot of things that have to happen before that child comes into this world, and both people should be responsible enough to not do that if they don't want that. And if they do want that, it should just make sense to try to do it with somebody who can help you, like a built-in babysitter. You know what I'm saying? Like when you've had enough, here, nigga, you hold the baby, right? Why do y'all do this to yourselves? It's crazy. But go ahead. I agree, Dr. Umar. Just because I dropped some seed in her doesn't mean I got to buy the farm. I can just come back there every now and then and visit my little plant and keep it moving. But y'all got it.